calm, focus, happiness. Hey, Mindful Tribe, welcome back to the show. Today, I am revisiting a guest that's been on twice before, and I am so excited to have him back on because both times we had fantastic interviews, great discussions, and he's written a new book. And I'm here today with Dr. Noah St. John. And as you will know, if you listen to either of the other episodes, you'll know he's known worldwide as the father of affirmations, and he's creator of the 12-week breakthrough working with Hollywood celebrities, professional athletes, and eight-figure company CEOs. And he's famous for helping people make more in just 12 weeks than they made in the last 12 months while winning their lives back. And he's also the author of 25 books, including his new book, which I'm really quite excited about because I've been reading it this afternoon and yesterday and really enjoying it. It's called The Seven-Figure Machine, Your Ultimate Roadmap to Endless Earnings and Financial Freedom. So, Dr. Noah, great to have you back. How are you?
It's great to be back, Bruce. Feeling great.
That's fantastic. Well, like I was just saying, your book is so well organized and easy to digest, and it's exciting because it certainly makes you think, wow, I can do this. I can make this happen. And you write it in such a way that it does all seem to be within reach. So tell me, what inspired you to write this yet another book when you've got 25 books already? I'm just interested to know what got you into this book.
Well, I've been teaching people how to make money online for almost 30 years now. I started in 1997 in a 300 square foot basement apartment in Hadley, Massachusetts. So a long, long time ago. Now I live in a 6,000 square foot mansion on a hill, which I was actually using the information and the formulas that I give you in the Seven Figure Machine book. I was able to actually pay off the mortgage on this house 27 years early. So
Wow.
we know it works, and it's very powerful. So it's funny, you see some of my books. You mentioned I've written 25 books, and you can see some of them back here. But I realized that I've written 24 books on inner game, and I hadn't yet written a book that was purely outer game. As from our earlier conversations, you might remember that I teach on inner game and outer game, right? Inner
Right.
game is everything that happens in between your ears that you can't see directly, but it affects everything that you do. And outer game is everything you can see directly that also affects everything that you do. But what's interesting is, I've helped my clients make over $3 billion collectively. You mentioned that I work with Hollywood celebrities and athletes and executives and CEOs. And, that $3 billion, 80% of that money came from me helping them master their inner game. But I realized we still need that other 20%, which is the outer game. And so that really was the inspiration for this new book, The Seven Figure Machine.
Well, at the beginning of the book, you dedicated it in part to your wife, your
Yep.
beautiful wife, Babette, you said, for being the best example of a loving mirror that you've ever met. Tell us what this means to you.
Well, that's part of my inner game. That's part of my inner game training that we call the power habit system, the power habits of unconsciously successful people. So, a loving mirror is someone who believes in you more than you believe in yourself. And what I realized is that is the essential component or an essential component that highly successful people all have. But what's fascinating is most of them don't even realize that they have it. And the reason for that is that they've always had it. So, if you've always had something, you don't know what it's like to not have something. And so for many of us, the majority of us, entrepreneurs or people in business, a lot of times we really don't have that person who's believing in us. And in fact, many people are actively saying that they don't believe in us, and they're saying, you should really quit this and get a job. And what are you doing? And this is crazy. This will never work. And there's a lot of doubters and naysayers out there. And that can just make our jobs even harder. I mean, it's hard enough as an entrepreneur, right? I mean, it can be very isolating and sometimes overwhelming. And so that's why we all need to have that person that believes in you. And that's what I do as a coach. When I'm coaching my clients, whether one-on-one or group coaching, a big part of what I do is just to literally believe in them And sometimes before they believe in themselves. In fact, just to give you a quick example of how powerful this is, I have a program called the 12-week breakthrough. You mentioned a moment ago, that I help people make more in 12 weeks than I did in the previous 12 months while actually winning their lives back. So it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter and, putting these systems in place. Well, I was coaching one of my clients in the program. Her name's Catherine, and she was doing well in her business, but she just felt a little stuck, a little stagnant. Really wanted to reach that next level. And she was in the class and she sent me an email in week 5. It's a 12-week class. So in week 5, she sent me an email. She said, Noah, I just wanted you to know that I raised $185,000 today in one day because of
Wow.
what you taught me. And this was the key of what she said, which was so awesome. She said, because you believed in me, now I believe in me again. I love that. And so that's how powerful this is.
That is really powerful. And since you say that, I realize that a lot of the guests I've interviewed, and I've interviewed over 900, a lot of times when I say, who's that one person that made such a difference in your life? A lot of times they don't even hesitate. They'll say my father, or they'll say my wife or my husband. And it's just that person you're describing. So yeah, that's really, really important. That's for sure. So I love how in your new book, you've laid it out so clearly that at the very beginning, you put how this book was written and then top 8 ways to get the most from this book. You leave nothing up to the imagination. The reader is not guessing, how do I make this work for me? Because you're laying it right out there. Is that what you learned from writing 25, 24 other books?
Well, I really learned how to write from studying other people and realizing how bad they are. And I don't mean to be mean, but I spent over $500,000, going to all the gurus out there only to realize that they can't teach their way out of a paper bag.
Yeah, you
And
said that in the book.
yeah, exactly. And it's truly awful. And I mean, that's a lot of money, and but see, the thing about money is we can always get money back, right? I mean, I've interviewed tons of people, I'm sure you have, people who lost millions and made millions, and we money you can get back, but here's the thing you can't get back, and that is time. See, you
No.
cannot get back time. And so I spent all those years giving them all this money only to find out there's no there there. And so I realized how not to teach by giving them all that money and realizing what they do is they tell a bunch of stories. And it's like, okay, stories are great. And we all learn by stories. The greatest, teachers in history use stories, Jesus and many others, right?
Yeah.
But the point is that you got to have something with the story, right? You got to give me an example, like give me a checklist, like what do I do? So as you said several times, that's what my books are, and that is literally one of the most common things that my readers say is, Noah, thank you for just showing me what to do, giving me a checklist, making it fill in the blank and paint by numbers. I'm like, yeah, I wish someone would have given me that a long time ago. I mean, I'd be a gazillionaire by now. I'm doing all right. Don't get me wrong. I'm doing fine. But geez, would have been nice to have that a long time ago. So that's what my job is, as a seven-figure mentor, is to, of course, make your job easier. So what I always say to my clients is my pain is your gain.
Yeah, well, one of the things you talked about was you said, sometimes it's not the mindset issue, although that's really important, but and you said it's not access to resources, it's not your circumstances. Your greatest enemy is delay, and you emphasize that. You really pound it throughout the book.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. What's that all about? Why do we tend to do that?
Well, it really comes down to one word, which is fear, right? I mean, fear
Yeah.
is the great thing that keeps us held back. Remember, I've written all these books about this one topic, which is how to take your foot off the brake, how to stop stopping yourself from the success you're perfectly capable of. In fact, I was talking with Neil Donald Walsh, who I'm sure we'd all know from Conversation with God many, many years ago. I mean, we're talking like over 25 years ago when my first book came out, Permission to Succeed. And he actually said, Noah, you should call this book, or you call your next book, How to Stop Stopping Yourself from Success. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's the subtitle of all my books, how to
Yeah.
stop stopping yourself. But the
Yeah.
point is that, yeah, and that's why you're right. I emphasize it a lot because it is the number one thing that is holding most people back, entrepreneurs, business professionals, athletes. I mean, whoever you want, artists, creative people, whoever. It is that delay. Right. And so that's why I talk about this, the three words that really will change your life and change your results, which is money loves speed. Money loves speed. Now, if you don't feel comfortable right now with the word money, which you should feel comfortable, you could say success loves speed or impact loves speed, whatever it is. You've got to fail faster. See, this is the other part of this, right? So it's like two sides of the same coin. So many people procrastinate because they're afraid of failure, but they're also afraid of success.
Yeah.
So it's like at the exact same time. So it's like, are you kidding me right now? This is crazy. I'm like, yes, I know. Have you met humans? We don't make any sense sometimes. But the point is that that fear manifests itself in many ways. One of them is procrastination, waiting for everything to be perfect before taking action. Let me give you another real life example, right? And I do, I share this story in the book, but I was talking with one of my clients. His name's Charles. And I asked them the question I ask all of my clients, whether one-on-one or group, and I say, what is this costing you to not have this in place? If you don't have this in place right now, meaning, getting rid of your head trash, getting your foot off the brake, putting these formulas in place, these frameworks, what do you think you're going to lose out on in the next 12 months? How much do you think it's going to cost you to not have this? And he said $1 million without even batting an eye. He said $1 million. And I said, Charles, I hear this every day. I mean, every day I talk to people who say, no, this is costing me 1 million, 2 million or more to not have these things in place. So I said, it's very common. So don't feel bad about it. Number one. Number two, I said, I'll tell you what, why don't you just give me 10% of that $1 million and I will find you $1 million in the next 12 months. In other words, if you give me $1 and I give you $10 back, is that a good deal? And he goes, well, yeah, that's a good deal. So he decided to do that on the spot. See, he didn't dilly-dally, he didn't delay. That's why I love working with high achievers, right? Because they don't do this. They don't delay. They just take action, right? And so he did that. I mean, he invested 100K, which is, 10% of a million, right? That's, to get one-on-one coaching with me for a year. That's the investment. And so anyway, I coached him for a year. Now, as it turns out, I didn't find him $1 million in the next 12 months. Instead, I found him 1.8 million in just 10 months.
Oh my
Right?
gosh.
So he gave me $1, I gave him $18 back, right? That's not
Yeah.
a good deal. That's a great
That's
deal.
a great investment.
Right. And actually, he sent me an email and he said, Noah, I love getting emails from my clients because they get wonderful success stories. Anyway, so he said that, guess where I am, Noah? Right now, I'm on a 7-week vacation with my wife. He said, we just bought a new motorhome with all this money we've got now, and he said, I've always wanted to do this. This is a dream I've had for years, but I never had the time and I didn't have the money. So now, we bought a new motorhome. We're on a 7-week vacation. And he said, not only do I have more money than I've ever had before, now because of your coaching, I have more time than I've ever had before. So it really goes hand in hand once you put these things in place.
Right. It really gives you time, which is the ultimate. Well,
Right.
we've talked about these things before, but my podcast is about mindfulness. What really makes you tick? Is it getting out in nature? Is it, just taking deep breaths and meditating? What are some of these things in your life that just give you that real delight, give you that satisfaction? Maybe they're related to mindfulness, maybe they're not.
Oh, they're definitely related to mindfulness. Absolutely, every day. Well, in our home that we have, by the way, our clients call this Success Manor. Our 6,000 square foot mansion on the hill, and it's just a beautiful location. And I actually bought this home in the middle of the pandemic in 2020. So it was just an incredible series of events that happened. But one of the reasons that I did buy it is, number one, just how peaceful it is, and number two, we have a koi pond in the backyard. And when I bought the property, or when I first looked at it, it was November, right? So it was like there was snow on the ground here in Ohio, and I couldn't really see it, the pond. I said, oh, there's a pond there, but I couldn't really tell what it was or how big because it was, the snow and frozen over stuff. So then when the thaw came in March, April, and the pond people came over and they opened it up. I mean, I didn't even realize this, but it has 3 waterfalls and there's like 50 koi fish in there. And I literally started crying because I mean, I came from a very poor background. We had nothing. In fact, my family lost our home to foreclosure when I was just 14 years old. So I remember what it's like to not have anything, not have money, not knowing, where your next meal is coming from or whatever you want to say. So having this now coming, this far in life, I literally just I broke down in tears because I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have this every day. And that's one of the things that my wife and I do. We love to just sit out on the deck, watch the fish, listen to the birds. We go for walks in nature. And yeah, I find that to be absolutely crucial for that mindfulness, for that peace of mind, that fulfillment, and most importantly, for that gratitude. Gratitude really is the most important emotion that we all have. And what's fascinating about that is you can manufacture it. See, I'm not a naturally grateful person. I was raised by people that kind of looked on the negative side of life, if you will. And so I kind of was trained to do that, like kind of find all the bad things. And that's not a great way to live, I found out. And so I really have had to train myself to be grateful and every single day. So the reason I share that is because for the folks listening and feeling like, well, sure, it's easy for you to say. I'm like, no, it isn't easy for me to say. It's actually something I still have to work at every single day. So the point is that is really worth it.
Well, your home is beautiful. And as soon as I knew I was going to be talking to you, I remembered your home really clearly. And I can't remember the details. Either you showed me a video or you took I think that was it. You showed me a video all around the back of your
Yep.
home and your
Yep.
property, and you told me that your father had been there. I'm pretty sure you told me that.
Yes. Yes.
And I remember that story. And back on episode 802, Mindful Tribe, you can check it out, mindfulnessmode.com/802. That was that episode. And then it was back in 2017, episode 242, that I first met you and first talked to you. But yes, your home is absolutely beautiful and so relaxing. And I'm so glad that you're still enjoying every day there in that beautiful home.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said, I came from very humble beginnings, from poor. I mean, I was poor in a rich neighborhood, by the way. And
Yeah.
I mentioned that, so I really saw the difference, the chasm between the haves and the have-nots. I was one of the have-nots. And so the point is, having this every day and finding it in the middle of the pandemic, was just the most incredible thing. So I absolutely, just every day I soak it in, and I'm so grateful for this. And it is something that I practice. And I will say this to the folks listening who might be saying, well, that sounds great. No, I don't have a big house and I got all these
Hmm.
bills. And I'm like, I would just want people to know that when I was $40,000 in debt, I had to move back into my parents' house in Maine. And even at that time, when I had no money, I had no connections, I had no list, I had lost everything, I still made it a point to be grateful. I still said, well, let's see, I don't have anything. Well, that's not true. I have 10 fingers. I've got 10 toes. I've got eyes that work and my ears work. My mouth works. I've got a laptop. I've got an internet connection. So, you know what I mean? And I'm like, that's like all I had. So I had like nothing, but I'm like, I didn't have nothing. So,
Right.
even if for those folks who are there say, well, I don't have anything, I'm like, actually, you do. But you need to focus on it. Why? Because what you focus on grows. If you focus on what you don't have, what do you get? More of the experience of not having. So don't do that. Focus on what you have and watch that grow and grow.
Well, let's talk about how to get your hands on the book because I got your book and just have, like I said already, really enjoyed how clear it is, how easy a read it is. And yet there's just one call to action after another. There are so many specific things to do so that you can achieve success. So, how do we get your book?
Well, here it is right here. It's called The Seven Figure Machine. Oh, I just got all blurry for some reason. Anyway, there it is. At least the book is clear.
Right.
Sometimes my camera does weird things. Anyway, there it is. Seven Figure Machine. You can go to, it's very easy to remember, sevenfiguremachinebook.com. There you go. Sevenfiguremachinebook.com. There, I'll try to get clear again.
There, yeah.
Not
That's
sure
clear.
why that's it. My camera does weird things sometimes. There it is.
Yeah.
Your ultimate roadmap to endless earnings and financial freedom. Noah St. John, Seven Figure Machine book. And by the way, when you get the book at Seven Figure Machine book, I'm also going to give you actually my brand new course. It's an online course called the Seven Figure Fast Track. And it's a brand new course, over $1,000 of value, and taking everything that I give you in the book and just really hammering it home for you. So as long as you take action, that is the key. You must take action. This isn't a book where you just sit there and read it and put it and make more shelf help. Don't do shelf
Mm.
help. Make sure you do it and take action. And anyway, all that and more, sevenfiguremachinebook.com.
Yeah. And so go to that website because that way you will get the training. That that's really valuable. That's really incredible because you have such an ability to help people. And I know you that in your trainings, that's the case that you do that. And I know you've told us one or two stories about people that you've helped, but tell us one more story about somebody that you've worked with or somebody that has found that they've been able to improve their life through what you've shared.
So yeah, a real quick story. I was speaking for a seminar. I was speaking at a seminar for 1,000 entrepreneurs in Los Angeles. This was a few years ago, and I was speaking. These are 7 and 8 figure earners, CEOs, high achievers, right? So I spoke for about 30 minutes. Did my keynote presentation. I get to, do virtual and live keynotes all around the country and around the world. And so I was walking off the stage. A man came up to me out of the audience and he said, "Noah, you are the coach I've been looking for. I want to hire you as my coach." Now, I didn't know this man from Adam. Ironically, his name was Adam. True story. And
That's
so I
funny.
said, "Okay, what's going on?" He says, "Well, Noah, we're doing well. We're actually at 7 figures, but we have been plateaued. We've been stuck at 7 figures for the past 4 years," he said. And he said, "I have hired all these marketing gurus, all these guys out there." He named all the big name gurus. He said, "But we just can't break through that income ceiling. As hard as I've tried, as hard as I work, we just can't break through." So he said, "As soon as I heard you speak about inner game and outer game and head trash and foot on the brake and everything you just said," he said, "I knew you're the coach I've been looking for. So I want to hire you." So, like I said, right, that's why I love working with high achievers, right? He made decisions quickly and friendly, didn't dilly dally, didn't mess around, just literally hired me on the spot. And so I coached him and his leadership team for 18 months. And in that 18 months, we were able to get his company from being stuck at 4 million for the previous 4 years, hitting that income ceiling, to over 20 million in revenues in less than 18 months. That's a 600% increase. That's what we like to call hockey stick growth, right? You're going along like this and then whop, hockey stick. So that's a great example. And what I will say to the folks listening is 90% of what I helped him with was inner game. So as crucial as outer game is, you got to do it. But really, if you want to start somewhere, yes, start at 7 Figure Machine book, but make sure you don't ignore your inner game because that's where the real breakthroughs are going to happen for you.
Well, Dr. Noah, thank you so much for jumping on this call, and I wish you all the best of success with this new book.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Great to be here. I'll see you soon.
All the best. Bye now. Okay,
Wow. I don't
great.
know why that is happening. That it just sits there and I guess I move too much maybe. But look, see how that's clear?
Yeah,
Why am I not clear?
I don't know.
That is so dumb. I hate it when it does that. This is an expensive camera.
Yeah.
Son of a gun. All right.
Well,
Well, anyway,
it's
sorry about that.
yeah,
Gosh.
that's okay. Yeah, that's
Well,
okay.
hopefully the sound was all right. Was the sound
The
okay?
sound is very good. Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Do you know when this will go live? I mean, like published?
yeah, in the next couple of days. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You
When,
don't
who's
have
gonna
a
be?
problem. It'll be
I don't
soon.
know.
I used to do interviews and then they'd be like 2 months away or something. And
Okay.
then I just changed that because I thought, I don't like posting an interview that where I can barely remember talking
All
to the
right.
guest.
Well, yeah, so just send me that link or,
I
to,
will.
to me and we'll definitely share it out and hope
Okay.
there you go. All
That
right,
sounds
Bruce,
great.
always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, pleasure
Oh,
with you
real
too.
quick,
Yeah.
excuse me, two things real quick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
excuse me before I forget. Number one is I'm so glad you're enjoying the book. Would you mind, would it be too terrible to ask if you leave an Amazon review on the Amazon page for the book?
It's not terrible at all. Will they let me do a review when I didn't buy the book on Amazon?
Well, there's
Or
a
is there a way
verified
around it?
review and then not verified. I don't know. That is an
Well,
interesting
I'll
question.
certainly do my best to go
Try.
on there and leave a
Yeah,
review for
and
you.
then
Yeah.
the other thing is, if you know of any other podcasters, any colleagues or anybody who
Yeah.
benefit from my message, I'd certainly welcome a referral. I mean, that's how I
Okay.
going to grow. But just a referral introduction. Just you can email introduce
Okay.
you and whoever, but that would be most welcome.
To another podcaster. Okay. I will think about that and see about somebody to refer
Mm.
to you.
Okay, sounds
'Cause
good.
I really like interviewing you a lot. So,
Oh, thank you. Well, we'll
yeah.
do it again. I'm sure I'll write
Yeah.
another book.
Okay. I'm sure you will.
All
Thanks so
right, see
much,
you, Bruce.
Dr. Noah. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.